Real estate markets are fascinating, so let's dive into it. This house, located in the suburbs of Montreal, was sold for $400,000 back in 2005. It had been built 1 year prior, had a heated in-ground pool, enormous backyard, luxury design. Flash forward to today, with that same $400,000, you could afford this much smaller house, which was built shortly after World War II. According to the Canadian Real Estate Association, the average residential home price in Canada has busted the $800,000 mark during the pandemic, so it's no surprise that houses haven't been this unaffordable for 30 years. That's because since the beginning of the pandemic, the price of Canadian homes has been booming at what might be the fastest rate it has ever seen. Home prices have risen by nearly a third since 2020, despite the US seeing similar house price increases. A standard Canadian house now costs almost twice as much as a similar US house. Maritime provinces got the hardest hit by rising prices. But even in British Columbia and Ontario, which have some of the most unaffordable real estate market in the world, prices still managed to increase over 15%. Why are we seeing such a dramatic increase in housing prices? Can we expect the market to cool down? And will you ever be able to afford a home? In the next 2 videos, we will explore these questions. Let's untangle some of the main reasons why home prices are getting so worryingly high these days. The big, obvious one is low interest rates. In March 2020, to avoid an economic recession, central banks lowered interest rates, despite them being already low. Those reductions made mortgage payments way more affordable for homeowners and new buyers. Many saved hundreds of dollars on their monthly payments, giving them more purchasing power to spend on other stuff like additional houses. The low cost of borrowing money also incentivized many people to buy houses, thereby increasing demand. Number 2 is that the pandemic made many homeowners reluctant to sell their homes to move elsewhere. It reduced inventories, it reduced supply, and led to many people competing for very little homes. Recent price increases are also caused by herd behavior, which can be defined as the phenomenon of individuals imitating group behaviors with little individual thoughts about whether it's a good idea or not. But when increasing home prices trigger a fear response and lead to even more people desperately trying to get into the real estate market, it just makes things worse for every potential buyer. This leads us to the next cause. Desperate times called for desperate measures, and desperate prospective buyers started overbidding more than ever before, oftentimes offering to buy houses $50,000 to $100,000 above asked price. In fact, more than half properties sold in larger cities have been sold above asked price. Some people even resorted to offering to name their children after the seller's name to get into his good graces. And many others are lucky enough to receive an average of $80,000 from their parents to help buy their first home. The fact that bidding processes are very opaque and there is no way of knowing how much other people are bidding certainly doesn't help. Another reason is supply chain bottlenecks. It means that building new houses is also getting much more expensive, and the war in Ukraine and resulting economic sanctions are definitely not helping, limiting the supply of essential construction materials even further. But to build houses, you need workers, and Canada is short of hundreds of thousands of construction workers according to immigration.ca. All those extra costs get passed on to final consumers and, you guessed it, causes even higher prices. Finally, financial speculation is also a major driver of increasing house prices. More regular citizens than ever own more than one house, and that's largely due to them wanting to park their wealth somewhere to expect a profit. There are also deep-pocketed domestic and international investors who buy real estate not to live in it, but in the hopes of making a profit out of renters. The Bank of Canada recently stated that a disproportionate share of new home purchases are made by those investors. Those are the main 6 reasons why real estate prices have risen so much in the last 2 years. And understanding these reasons is crucial to attempt to predict what will happen next. In the next video, we will explore how prices may evolve in the future and how that might impact your wallet. What do you think of those 6 reasons? Was one of them surprising to you? If so, type it down below. And if you found that this video was informative, please consider subscribing to the channel or liking the video.